Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Doing a little Sunday cooking, a little Sunday therapy, as I like to think of it. So today we're going to make some meatballs with an Asian flair to them. So I'm going to start off with some ground beef. This is an 85 15 blend, which is great for what we're going to do. This recipe also works really good with ground pork. So what we're going to do right off the bat, we're going to season it, a little bit of salt, and I'm using a mix of peppercorns here. Usually when you get pepper, you get the black peppercorns, but this has red and white, which means they've been a little bit more matured. We're also going to add to this, I got some green onions. I'm also going to kind of like make this almost like a paste. It doesn't have to be pretty. Because we want it all to blend in. All right. Perfect. All right, now we're going to throw in a little bit of ginger. And you want to grate it. That way it gets mixed through all the way. You don't have big chunks. Now we're going to save that little bit for later. Let's get all that ginger in there. All right. Excellent. Now we're going to use a splash of soy sauce, just a little bit. Now because of my wife, we have to use a gluten-free soy sauce, which I think is better. Most soy sauce that you get, Elton Brown did a thing on this years ago. Most cheap soy sauce is basically they boil wheat until it like turns black and then they add water to it. Get yourself, this is the Kukkoman tamarind soy sauce, gluten-free, absolutely fantastic. I think it tastes better than the other stuff. Now to help bind this, we're going to use some breadcrumbs. These are gluten-free panko breadcrumbs. Not too much. And you want to get in there with your hands. Now, whether you're making an Asian-inspired meatball, you're going to do your traditional Italian meatballs. If you can make your mix the night before and let all those flavors kind of blend together, it'll taste just that much better. All right, so there we go. So I'm going to try to measure this out the best I can. You could use a ice cream scoop if you have. I've done that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do about a tablespoon of mixture. Now what we're doing is we're just going to pop these in the oven just for a little bit, and then we're going to finish them off in the wok. That way you get that nice kind of crispy outside to it. And we're going to reshape them just so they're a little bit more pretty. This was about a half pound of that ground beef. What's great about meatballs, regardless of how you make them, you want to do like a sweet chili Thai thing. You want to do, I've done them with a coconut curry, which is actually really good. You want to do your grandma's traditional meatballs. What's great about these is you make them in advance. You could freeze them. You could store them for a little bit. All right, good. Just the right amount there. So we're just going to reshape these real quick. You don't want to squish them, just, kind of light hands. What I like with the panko is it makes them a little bit lighter. So just light hands. So, oh, got a little bit of beef there. So these, I would say, a little bit bigger than a ping pong ball, right? Great for dinner. You put them, you do like a bombing type sandwich with them. Serve it with rice, serve it with veggies. Yeah, a lot of uses to them. Great as an appetizer. I go a little bit smaller if I was doing an appetizer. That's just me. All right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I made a dozen. But there's a little bit of with this meat. All right. Fantastic. I'll wash my hands real quick. Now, like I said, I'm going to start them in the oven. So, upper rack, right in the middle, just to get them going at about 425. Now I'm going to use a wok for our vegetables. Now I use a wok because it's got a nice big surface to it. Also really good for a quick fry. So, let this get a little bit warmer. Add some olive oil. Use any oil you want. This is what I got on hand. Let that come up. And clean up at the same time. So as far as vegetables, my wife's coming off a little bit of a medical procedure, so she wants something a little bit veggie heavy to kind of get her back in the right kind of mindset. She loves her vegetables. So we're going to have a little bit of a mix. Just kind of swirl that around on the bottom there. So we're going to do this kind of in stages. So first off, we're going to start off with some bell pepper. I got some green bell pepper and some red bell pepper. When you hear that sizzle, that's what you want. Whether you're cooking vegetables or you're cooking meat, if you don't hear that sizzle right away, what's going to happen is it's going to steam, and you're not going to get that good caramelization and build those good flavors. So a little bit of salt, because we want to pull some of the water out. So that's it. Now to just kind of up the flavor a little bit with this, we want to take that little nub of ginger that we had. I'm going to leave it in kind of nice big slices here. Ginger's so good for you. You got headaches, you got indigestion. It's really good for you. I'm feeling a bit frisky. All right, so we got that going on. Now, what I have over on this pot here that you folks can't see is I got some green beans and I got some broccoli. I'm going to fish those out. I had them in a pot, lightly salted water, just kind of steam them, soften them up a little bit, and now we're going to crisp them up. And this is why you have a good sized wok. And that little big one. Alright, crispy, not mushy. You know, they're not my grandma's green beans. I love my grandmother, but hers used to, she just boil the hell out of them. Again, hit them with a little salt. Start building some flavor. Light, a little bit of soy sauce. Just a little bit. Let those sit. We're going to grab a plate so I can transfer all that. So, got a big bowl here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my vegetables, because I don't want them soggy. I'm going to take those, transfer them to that big bowl, and all that steam, all that is, that's wonderful little flavors coming out. So I'm going to put that plate there. It's going to retain the heat. The vegetables are still going to continue to cook. Tiny bit of oil, and now our shredded carrots. Pinch of salt. And when they're shredded like this, full disclosure, I didn't shred them. But when you shred the carrots, they cook so much quicker. And they give a wonderful crunch. On the meatballs real quick. All right. Like I said, they're going to get finished off in the pan here. I'm going to repurpose one of these bowls because I want to make a little sauce. Now, you can get bulgogi sauce in your market, but the problem is that it's not gluten free. And like I said, my wife has celiac, so we're going to have to improvise a little bit. So what this is a sweet chili Thai sauce, which is really good on its own. We're going to add some soy, good amount of soy. Get our carrots with a little soy as well. Our sauce, pepper. Pinch salt, because we already got the soy sauce in there. So that's going to already have a nice saltiness to it. Now, not exactly a traditional ingredient, but looking online, what I found is if you're doing this, you could add plum sauce, or they also recommend ketchup because it's got that same consistency, different type of sweetness, and I've done that before. It's been really good. And we're just going to mix that. That's really good. Alright, let's pop the lid off of that. Take our carrots. up the heat in just a second. Still, I don't want to lose any of that steam. Now let's give our pan a quick wipe out. So real quick, you gotta scrub it, but really what we're just trying to do is get those little carrot pieces out of there. All right. Yeehaw. Up the heat a little bit of oil. Let's see. Hands of asbestos. Here we go. All right. I'm just going to get that oil going. That's that sizzle we're looking for. So the meatballs are firm to the touch, but they're not fully cooked yet. So we're going to go half and half because we don't want to overcook. Well, actually, you know what? We can do this because what I'm going to do is I want to keep the pan moving. Smells wonderful. You can get the spring onion, you get that nice ginger. We've got 2 bowls. So when we're ready to plate, we're good to go. Now we're going to pump up the heat just a bit. And all I'm doing is moving them around so they cook evenly. And just kind of reset them every couple of seconds just so they're not steaming. Because what we're also doing is we have a little bit of oil, and you also got that little bit of fat from the beef itself that's going to come out, and it's going to add to that flavor. And what we're doing is we're getting some nice caramelization on the beef. Grab a spoon. Now I'm just going to back down on that heat a little bit because the wok's going to pull in a lot. And as you can see, you're getting that good caramelization on it. So you get that nice kind of crispiness to it. When I'm doing a Asian fusion style meatball, I like that crispiness. Not so much when I'm doing like Grandma's Sunday spaghetti. That's a different thing altogether. So let's start thinking about plating. I'm just going to move that over so I don't knock into it. Super simple here. Retrieve our vegetables. If you want to do some rice with this, go right ahead. But we're just going to go vegetables and meatballs today. Now just kind of finish these off, give them one last little spin there. And we're going to hit them with our little sauce that we made. Kind of just spoon that over. Now don't worry if you didn't cover everybody. That is good. So now what we're going to do, take them, spin in the pan. Alright. Now just kind of let those sit, let them get real nice and sticky. Over our vegetables, I got some sesame seeds. If you want to get a little adventurous and toast yours, do it up. So just going to take that right over our vegetables. Right over our vegetables. And just that last couple seconds, we're going to do the meatballs as well. Okay. Now one last piece of garnish that we're going to use is I use the spring onion or scallions. I use the whites in the meatballs, but now I'm going to bunch them up and I'm going to chop them, use them as a garnish. Now what I like to do with this is I like a nice angled cut. I just think it looks prettier. Nice strokes. Wonderful. I like to do a little bit right over the top of the vegetables. And on the rest, if I can do this without messing it up too bad. Just right over the top of the meatballs themselves, let those get coated in that sauce. Perfect. Heat, divide up your meatballs. Reserve one for myself. We're going to give it a little taste. Be careful, it's going to be hot coming out. Very good. These came out really good. You got that nice sweetness from the sauce. You got that ginger coming through. Nice kind of toasted, lightly toasted on the sesame seed. Not that we gave it enough time to toast itself, but you know, just kind of having that in the background. It was really good. I didn't make enough for everybody, but we were invited to dinner. Make them on your own. See you.